going on, people? This is Speederman here once again with another film review for you guys. And this time I'm reviewing a Marion Dora film called Carcinoma. And yeah. So, anyways, guys, so this film, I have to admit that I was debating whether I wanted to see because ever since I saw the trailer for this film, I kind of knew what I was getting into. Considering that I seen mostly all his films, his short films of Marion Dora, and I already knew there's certain things in his films that there's certain signature uh, themes and scenes that are in his films that you know always pop up in his other films. So let's talk a little bit about the plot for this film. So this film is about a guy named Dorian, and he works in a landfill, and he has a beautiful girlfriend, normal life, very much in love with her, and so one day he starts to get really sick, and he's noticing like these bumps on his stomach, and then he has to go to the bathroom all the time, um, and then he finds out he has I think colon cancer or something like that, and he gets he goes to the doctor, he gets a checkup, all the things you would normally do, and they just tell him like, well, you know there's really nothing we can do. I mean, maybe I think the cancer's already like further in the stages or something like that, and so he kind of decides to just give up on getting cured, and he just like starts doing these weird things, like him and his girl into these weird fetishes, and he starts doing exploring other fetishes and stuff. um, but yeah, so without saying too much, I mean, from what I heard about this film, because I did look up some facts about this film, and I read that this was based on a real case, on a real person, and a lot of the actors in the film were actually the people that were involved in the case. So it kind of has some realism to the story of this film. And I have to tell you guys, man, like compared to those other films, I mean, this film has kind of like a. If you guys ever seen the movie Cannibal, it has a cannibal vibe, but it also has a vibe like that film Debris Documentar had. But I have to say, man, like this movie is really disturbing. Might be one of Marion Dora's most disturbing films, but it's hard to say because all his films are really sick and disturbing and really depressing and depraved and all that. But oh man, like after I guess like the 1 hour mark, during like the final scenes, that's where the movie really takes off and it really goes full force, and you start. It's very hard to watch. I had to look away a couple of times because it gets to that point where it's too much. Kind of like when I watched the Debris Documentar. It reminded me of how extreme that film was, and this film kind of has a similar vibe, maybe more than that. But a lot of people have like mixed reactions. They say, "Oh, this is worse than Debris Documentar," or "Debris Documentar is worse than this film." But I'm gonna say they're kind of equal. But the fact that this could actually happen, and it has happened to a lot of people, cancer is a real thing, and like man, it's crazy, man. And you really feel sorry for the character of Dorian because he's just like a cool guy, normal, living a normal life. Has a cool relationship with his girl. He's a very likable guy, from what you know about him in the film. And this really tragic disease happens to him, and you just feel, yeah, you feel sorry for this guy, man. And I mean, there's some character development in here, and as far as like, if I ever compare this film to like, let's say, Angels of Melancholy or something like that, this film has a story that you could actually follow. It makes sense. Whereas Angels of Melancholy did not make any fucking sense. It was a lot of things thrown in there, just for the sake of violence and all that. But for this film, I think, yeah, the story. I like the story. Um, like I said, I knew what I was getting into, and I really was debating on whether I should watch this movie or not because I kind of, I I knew just what I was gonna see, but at the end of the day, yeah, I got through it. I had to look away. I mean, this film is not for everybody. I mean, but if you know this director, if you know his other films, then you might be more brave enough to to watch it. But this is one of the sickest movies I've seen so far in a long, long time. But that's expected with Marion Dora. He's one of the craziest directors out there, man. And I mean, I don't think there's anybody sicker like currently that's doing like sick films like this. I mean, this is guy is like very brave, does not give a fuck. He just does what he wants, and yeah, man. At the end of the day, what do I give Carcinoma? Well, I give this film a 8 out of 10. Also, because this film, if you compare it to like Angels of Melancholy, it's not that long. It's like 80 some minutes or something like that. So, the story doesn't drag. There's not a filler, and the story gets right to the point. But yeah, if you ever seen any of his other films, you recognize like the cinematography is there, the sound design is there, the soundtrack, the creepy soundtrack, just the animals, random scenes of animals and stuff like that. I mean, it's all there. What you expect from this director, and it's not a film you enjoy. Like his films are not like meant to be enjoyed. It's just, I guess, it's an experience. It's not like, like he says in the interviews, man. It's not. They're not made for entertainment. They're made for just to watch and experience and just see how life can be cruel and just the how life is sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I can't say that I enjoyed the film, but I'm glad I finally watched it. I got it, got it over with, and yeah, I watched the film. It was as crazy as I imagined it would be, and yeah, would I recommend it? I guess I could recommend it only if you have watched his other films, but if you never watched none of Marion Dora's films, I would say maybe start with something more light like Cannibal or let's see, Voyage to Agathis. Start something like that, because this is more of his extreme films, I think. And you might not watch it the whole way through. I barely did, so yeah. Yeah, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next video. Right? Peace.